The alarm bells rang across Luna Station. Captain Jake Martinez ran down the metal hallway toward the command center. His boots made loud sounds on the floor. Other people were running too. Everyone looked scared. Jake burst through the doors of the command center. The room was full of people staring at screens. Dr. Lisa Thompson turned to look at him. Her face was white. "Jake, you need to see this," she said. Her voice shook. Jake walked to the main screen. What he saw made his heart stop. Space was full of huge ships. They were bigger than anything humans had ever built. The ships were black and silver. They looked like giant knives floating in space. "How many?" Jake asked. "Over 300 ships," said Commander Sam Rodriguez. He was reading numbers from his screen. "They just appeared out of nowhere. Our sensors didn't see them coming." The alien ships were lined up in perfect rows. They blocked out the stars behind them. Each ship was at least 5 miles long. Some were even bigger. They had strange lights running along their sides. The lights pulsed like a heartbeat. Jake had been in the military for 20 years. He had fought in the Mars Wars. He had seen big battles before. But this was different. This was bigger than anything he could imagine. "Where did they come from?" Jake asked. "We don't know," Lisa said. She was the smartest person Jake knew. She studied alien technology, but even she looked confused. "They just appeared at the edge of our solar system, like they came out of thin air." The biggest ship was in the front. It was twice as big as the others. Strange symbols glowed on its hull. The symbols seemed to move and change as they watched. "Any communication?" Jake asked. "Not yet," Sam said. "But they're scanning everything. Our satellites, our space stations, our ships. They're looking at everything we have." Jake felt sick. Earth's space fleet had 50 ships. The aliens had 300. Earth's biggest ship was the carrier New York. It was half a mile long. The alien ships made it look like a toy. On the alien flagship, Admiral Zexstar looked at the scans of the human solar system. His 4 eyes studied the data. His blue skin had dark spots that showed he was thinking hard. "What do we know about these humans?" he asked his science officer. "They are very primitive, Admiral," the officer said. His voice made clicking sounds. "They use nuclear fusion for power. Their weapons are simple plasma and kinetic guns. Their fastest ships can only travel at 1% of light speed." Zexstar smiled. His teeth were sharp and white. "How many worlds like this have we conquered?" 17, Admiral. "This will be 18. The Kethver Empire had been conquering worlds for 500 years. They had the best technology in the galaxy. Their ships could travel faster than light. Their weapons could destroy planets. Their sensors could see everything. "Begin the standard protocol," Zexstar said. "Scan all military targets. Identify their strongest weapons. Prepare the surrender demand." The alien sensors reached out across the solar system. They found every human military base. They found every warship. They found every defense platform. The sensors were so good they could count the bolts in each ship's hull, but the sensors were looking for military threats. They ignored civilian ships, cargo haulers, mining vessels, passenger transports. These were not dangerous. The sensors marked them as non-threat and moved on. Back on Luna Station, Jake watched more alien ships arrive. They kept coming through some kind of portal in space. The portal looked like a tear in reality itself. Ships poured through it like water through a broken dam. "Sir, we're getting reports from all over the system," a young officer said. His name was Danny Clark. He was only 22 years old. "Jupiter Station sees them. Mars Base sees them. Even the mining ships in the asteroid belt are reporting contacts." Jake nodded. The aliens were everywhere. "There was no place to hide." "What about Earth's fleet?" Jake asked. "Admiral Parker is gathering all available ships," Sam said. "But it will take time. Most of our fleet is scattered across the system on patrol." Lisa was studying her screens. She was trying to understand the alien technology. "Jake, look at this," she said. "Their energy readings are off the charts. One of their smallest ships has more power than our entire fleet combined." Jake felt the weight of command on his shoulders. He was responsible for defending humanity. But how could he fight something this powerful? A new alarm started ringing. This one was different. It meant incoming communication. "Sir, we're receiving." "A transmission," Danny said. "It's coming from the big ship in front." "Put it on screen," Jake ordered. The main screen changed. Now it showed the bridge of the alien flagship. Admiral Zextar stood in the center. He was tall and thin. His blue skin looked like metal in the strange light. When he spoke, the computer translated his words into English. "Humans of Earth," Zextar said. His voice was cold and smooth. "I am Admiral Zextar of the Kethver Empire. Your system now belongs to us." Jake felt anger rise in his chest, but he stayed quiet. He needed to hear everything. "You have 72 hours to surrender," Zextar continued. "Gather all your military leaders. Prepare to transfer control of your government to us. If you comply, some of you will be allowed to live as workers." The alien admiral paused. His 4 eyes seemed to look right at Jake through the screen. "If you resist, we will destroy your planet and everyone on it. We have done this 17 times before. You cannot win. Your technology is too primitive. Your weapons cannot hurt our ships. Choose wisely." The screen went black. The command center was quiet. Nobody spoke for a long time. Finally, Jake broke the silence. "Get me Admiral Parker on Mars," he said. "And patch me through to all the fleet commanders." "We need to talk, Jake," Lisa said quietly. "He's right. Our weapons can't get through their shields. I've been studying their energy patterns. Their technology is hundreds of years ahead of ours." Jake looked at her. Then he looked around the room at all the people counting on him. Young men and women who had joined the Space Force to protect Earth. They all looked scared, but Jake remembered something his grandfather had told him. His grandfather had fought in World War II. He had been at D-Day. "Sometimes," his grandfather had said, "you don't win by being stronger. You win by being smarter." Jake looked back at the screen showing the alien fleet, 300 ships against 50. Advanced technology against primitive weapons. It looked impossible, but Jake had an idea. It was crazy. It was dangerous. But it might be their only chance. "Get me the Civilian Shipping Authority," Jake said. "I need to know about every cargo ship, every mining vessel, every transport in the system." Sam looked confused. "Sir? Just do it," Jake said. "And don't let the aliens know we're talking to civilian ships. If this is going to work, they can't know what we're planning." The next 72 hours would decide the fate of humanity. The aliens thought they had already won. They had better technology, they had more ships. They had conquered 17 worlds, but they had never fought humans before. The alien fleet moved closer to Earth. Admiral Zextar stood on his bridge watching the human world grow larger on his screens. His sensors showed him everything, every human military base, every warship, every defense platform. All of it was weak and primitive. "Status report," Zextar ordered. "All human military assets have been cataloged," his science officer said. 53 warships total, 212 defense platforms, 18 space stations with weapons. Their largest ship has the firepower of our smallest scout vessel. Zextar felt pleased. This would be easier than most conquests. The humans had been in space for less than 100 years. Their ships still used chemical rockets and primitive fusion drives. Their weapons were laughable. "What about their planetary defenses?" Zextar asked. "Surface-to-space missiles with nuclear warheads," the officer replied. "Our shields can absorb their entire nuclear arsenal without damage." On the bridge screens, Zextar could see human ships moving around. Most were heading away from Earth. Civilian vessels fleeing in panic, just like always. Cargo ships, mining vessels, passenger transports, all running like scared animals. "Should we destroy the fleeing civilian ships?" asked his weapons officer. "No," Zextar said. "Let them run. Terrified civilians spread fear faster than our weapons. Besides, they pose no threat." The alien sensors were the most advanced in the galaxy. They could detect the smallest weapon from 1 million miles away. They could analyze the power output of any ship. They could identify military technology instantly, but the sensors only looked for threats they understood. Energy weapons. Military grade. Shields, plasma cannons, nuclear missiles. Things that looked dangerous, a simple cargo ship carrying or was not dangerous. A mining vessel with drilling equipment was not dangerous. A passenger transport with no weapons was not dangerous. The sensors marked these ships as civilian non-threat and ignored them on Luna Station. Captain Jake Martinez worked around the clock. He had not slept in 36 hours. His eyes were red and tired, but he could not stop. Not when humanity's survival depended on what happened next. How many ships have we contacted? Jake asked. Commander Sam Rodriguez checked his list. 2,417 civilian vessels, he said. Cargo haulers, mining ships, passenger transports, research vessels, private yachts, everything with an engine and a hull. How many said yes? Jake asked. About half, Sam said. 1,200 volunteers. Jake felt proud and sad at the same time, proud that so many people were willing to fight. Sad because he knew many of them would die. Dr. Lisa Thompson looked up from her computer. She had been studying alien technology for 2 days straight. Her hair was messy and her clothes were wrinkled. I think I understand how their sensors work, she said. They're looking for specific energy signatures. Military-grade shields give off a certain frequency. Plasma weapons create specific radiation patterns. Nuclear weapons have distinctive neutron emissions. What does that mean? Jake asked. It means they can only see threats that look like threats, Lisa explained. If something doesn't match their database of dangerous technology, their sensors ignore it. This was the key to Jake's plan. The aliens were looking for military ships with military weapons. They were not looking for civilian ships with hidden surprises. In the asteroid belt, Pete Collins got the coded message on his mining ship. The message was simple. The wolves are coming. Will you help protect the sheep? Pete was 45 years old. He had been mining asteroids for 20 years. His ship was called the Rockhound. It was old and ugly, but it was his home. Pete looked at the alien fleet on his long-range sensors. Then he looked at his drilling equipment. The same tools he used to break apart asteroids could be used for other things. Dangerous things. He sent back a one-word reply, yes. Near Jupiter, cargo captain Amy Foster received the same message. Her ship was the Big Haul. It carried supplies between the outer planets and Earth. Right now, her cargo holds were full of titanium ingots bound for Earth's shipyards. Amy was 32 years old. She had joined the Merchant Marine after her brother died fighting pirates near Saturn. She knew how to fight. More importantly, she knew how to hide weapons in cargo containers. She started moving the titanium ingots around. In the empty spaces, she began installing something special. Something that would surprise the aliens. In the outer system, transport pilot Chris Baker was carrying passengers from the mining colonies back to Earth. His ship was the Safe Journey. It was designed to keep people comfortable during long trips, but Chris had been in the military before he became a civilian pilot. He knew about weapons. He knew about war. When he got the coded message, he gathered his passengers in the main cabin. I need to tell you something, he said. We might not make it to Earth. The aliens are coming. But we have a chance to fight back. Anyone who wants to leave can take the escape pods to the nearest station. Nobody left. All 67 passengers voted to stay and fight. The Kethver fleet continued its approach to Earth. Admiral Zexstar was confident and relaxed. His ships had destroyed the first wave of human defenders easily. 8 human warships had attacked his outer pickets. All 8 were now floating debris. The humans are learning that resistance is futile, Zexstar told his bridge crew. Soon, they will surrender. But Admiral Zexstar did not know about the meeting happening on Luna Station. Jake Martinez sat in a secure conference room with 50 other people. They were not military officers, they were civilians. Miners, cargo haulers, transport pilots, research scientists. You all know why you're here, Jake said. The aliens think they've already won. Their sensors can see our military ships from 1,000,000 miles away. but they can't see threats that don't look like threats. An old mining captain named Roy Bennett raised his hand. What exactly are you asking us to do? Turn your ships into weapons, Jake said simply. Use your drilling equipment as kinetic accelerators. Hide explosives in your cargo holds. Mount weapons where the aliens won't look for them. That's suicide, said a woman named Carol Price. She was a transport captain. Maybe, Jake admitted. But if we do nothing, Earth dies anyway. At least this way we have a chance. Dr. Lisa Thompson stood up. She had prepared a technical briefing. The alien shields are designed to stop energy weapons and conventional explosives, she said. But they're not calibrated for massive kinetic impacts at specific angles. If we hit them with enough force in the right places, we can break through. She showed them diagrams of the alien ships. Red marks showed weak points where the hull was thinner. Green marks showed shield generators that could be damaged. Your mining charges won't work like bombs, Lisa continued. But if you modify them and detonate them at contact, the kinetic force might be enough. Pete Collins studied the diagrams. His drilling laser could be overcharged to fire in a single massive pulse. It would burn out the equipment, but it might punch through alien armor. Amy Foster realized she could pack her cargo, containers with explosives, and launch them like massive bullets. Her ship's loading system could fire them fast enough to avoid the alien point defenses. Chris Baker saw that his passenger transport could be fitted with hidden railguns. The same magnetic systems that moved luggage could accelerate metal projectiles. To incredible speeds, one by one, the civilian captains agreed to the plan. They would disguise their ships as fleeing refugees. The aliens would ignore them as harmless civilians. Then at the right moment, they would reveal what they really were. The next 24 hours were busy. All across the solar system, civilian ships were being secretly modified. Mining equipment became weapons. Cargo containers became bombs. Passenger transports became warships. The aliens watched the human military prepare for a hopeless last stand. They saw the human fleet gathering near Earth. They counted every weapon, every ship, every defense platform. But they did not count the mining ship that was installing a massive kinetic accelerator. They did not count the cargo hauler that was loading nuclear-enhanced projectiles. They did not count the transport ship that was mounting hidden railguns. The aliens saw only what they expected to see. Primitive military ships with primitive weapons. Helpless civilians fleeing in panic. Admiral Zexstar prepared for the final assault. In 12 hours, his fleet would reach Earth. The planet's defenders would make their last desperate attack. Then it would be over. Begin final preparations. Zexstar ordered. Tomorrow we add another world to the Empire. But Admiral Zexstar did not know that tomorrow would be very different from what he expected. Tomorrow, the hunters would become the hunted. Tomorrow, the aliens would learn that sometimes the most dangerous enemies are the ones you never see coming. The trap was set. Now all humanity had to do was spring it at exactly the right moment. One chance, one shot. Everything depended on perfect timing and a lot of luck. Jake Martinez looked out at the stars and whispered a prayer for all the brave people who would risk everything in the next few hours. The alien fleet reached Earth's moon. Admiral Zexstar stood on his bridge looking at the blue planet below. In a few more hours, it would belong to the Kethver Empire. Just like 17 other worlds before it? Final scan complete, Admiral. His science officer reported. All human military assets confirmed. They have positioned their entire fleet between us and their planet. Zexstar smiled. The humans were going to make their last stand. How predictable. Every species did the same thing. They gathered their strongest ships for one final hopeless battle. 53 human warships against 300 of ours, Zexstar said. They must know they cannot win. Perhaps they hope to inflict some damage before they die, the science officer suggested. Some species prefer death to surrender. It matters not, Zexstar said. Begin charging the main weapons. We will destroy their fleet quickly. Then we can focus on the planet itself. The alien ships began to glow with deadly energy. Massive cannons emerged from hidden compartments. Shield generators hummed with power. The HFY fleet prepared to end the war in one devastating attack, but Admiral Zexstar did not notice the other ships around his fleet. His sensors showed them clearly, hundreds of civilian vessels scattered throughout the area. Mining ships, cargo haulers, passenger transports, all fleeing in different directions like frightened animals. The sensors marked each civilian ship the same way. Non-military, no weapons detected, threat level 0. In the asteroid belt, Pete Collins watched the alien fleet on his screens. His mining ship, Rockhound, looked exactly like what it was supposed to be, an old, ugly mining vessel. But inside, Pete had been working for 2 days straight. His drilling laser had been completely rebuilt. Instead of cutting through rock, it was now designed to fire one massive pulse of energy. The pulse would be so powerful it would destroy the laser completely. But Pete only needed one shot. "This is Luna Station to all civilian ships," came Jake Martinez's voice over the radio. "Continue your evacuation patterns. Maintain normal flight paths. Do not deviate from assigned routes." Pete knew this was code. Jake was telling everyone to stay in position. The trap was almost ready to spring. Near Jupiter, Amy Foster finished loading the last cargo container. Her ship Big Haul looked like a normal freight hauler. The containers on her hull appeared to be full of titanium ingots, just like her shipping manifest said, but Amy had hollow containers mixed in with the real ones. Inside the hollow containers were nuclear charges, not nuclear weapons, but mining explosives enhanced with radioactive material. When launched at high speed, they would hit like massive bullets. Amy's cargo launching system could fire containers at incredible velocity. It was designed to deliver supplies to ships that could not dock. Now, it would deliver something very different to the alien fleet. "Big Haul, this is Luna Station." Jake's voice crackled over the radio. "Please confirm your evacuation route." "Luna Station, Big Haul confirms," Amy replied. "Proceeding to safe distance as ordered." But Amy was not proceeding to a safe distance. She was moving into attack position. In the outer system, Chris Baker made final preparations on his transport ship's safe journey. His 67 passengers had all volunteered to help. They were installing the last of the hidden railguns. The railguns were built from the ship's magnetic cargo handling system. The same magnets that moved luggage could accelerate small projectiles to enormous speeds. Chris had thousands of titanium bolts that would become deadly bullets. "All passengers to safety positions," Chris announced over the ship's intercom. "Secure all loose items. This is going to be rough." An old man named Frank Miller came to the bridge. He was a retired military engineer. "Captain, the weapons are ready. But I have to tell you, firing them will probably tear the ship apart." "I know," Chris said. "But if we don't try, Earth dies anyway." The alien fleet settled into final attack formation around Earth. The planet looked beautiful from space. Blue oceans, white clouds, green continents. Soon it would be brown and lifeless, like all the other worlds the HFY had conquered. "All ships report ready," Zexstar's tactical officer announced. "Weapons charged. Shields at maximum. Target locks confirmed on all human vessels," Zexstar nodded. "Begin the attack. Destroy their fleet first. Then we will deal with the planet." The first alien ship fired. A beam of purple energy lanced across space and struck the human destroyer Boston. The ship exploded in a ball of fire. Pieces of burning metal scattered in all directions. More alien weapons fired. The human cruiser Denver tried to fight back, but its missiles could not penetrate the alien shields. Another purple beam cut the cruiser in half on Luna Station. Jake Martinez watched his fleet die. It was horrible, but it was also necessary. The aliens had to believe they were winning easily. They had to stay focused on the military targets. "Sir, we've lost 8 ships already," Commander Sam Rodriguez reported. His voice was tight with grief. "I know," Jake said. He felt sick watching good people die. "But it's working. The aliens are ignoring the civilian ships completely." Dr. Lisa Thompson monitored the alien fleet from her hidden bunker. She was tracking their shield frequencies and weapon patterns. Everything had to be perfect for the plan to work. Jake, I'm reading their shield harmonics, she said into her radio. The frequencies are exactly what I predicted. The plan should work. That was not the same as would work. But it was the best chance they had. Admiral Zextar felt satisfied as he watched the human fleet die. Ship after ship exploded under his weapons. The humans fought bravely, but bravery could not overcome superior technology. Estimated time, too. Complete fleet destruction? He asked. 12 minutes, Admiral, his tactical officer replied. The humans are putting up more resistance than expected, but the outcome is certain. Around the alien fleet, civilian ships continued their panicked evacuation. Some headed toward Mars, others fled to the outer planets. A few tried to hide behind asteroids. All of them were running away from the battle. The alien sensors tracked every civilian ship. But since none of them showed weapons or military shields, they were classified as harmless. The computers automatically ignored them. Pete Collins positioned his mining ship directly behind the alien flagship. His sensors showed that the massive alien vessel was focused entirely on the human fleet ahead of it. Perfect. This is for Earth, Pete whispered. He charged his modified drilling laser to maximum power. Warning lights flashed all over his control panel. The system was not designed for this kind of output. Amy Foster aligned her cargo hauler with a group of alien cruisers. Her targeting computer, originally designed to aim supply deliveries, now calculated firing solutions for her explosive containers. 67 containers loaded and ready, she said to herself. Time to make a delivery the aliens won't forget. Chris Baker brought his transport into position near the alien fleet's rear guard. His passengers were strapped into their seats. The hidden railguns were powered up and ready. Frank, are you sure about the firing sequence? Chris asked the old engineer. As sure as I can be, Frank replied. But remember, we'll only get one volley before the ship breaks apart. All across the battle area, civilian ships moved into their final positions. Mining vessels, cargo haulers, passenger transports, research ships, private yachts, over 1,000 vessels that the aliens had dismissed as harmless. The Kethvar fleet continued destroying the human military. Admiral Zextar was already planning the planetary bombardment. His sensors showed that most of the civilian evacuation was complete. Good, fewer witnesses to what would happen next. Admiral, the human fleet is down to 30 ships, his tactical officer reported. Victory is imminent. Excellent, Zextar said. Prepare the planetary bombardment systems. As soon as we finish with their fleet, we begin surface strikes. But Admiral Zextar did not know that his moment of triumph was about to become his greatest defeat. Around his fleet, 1,000 hidden weapons were taking aim. The hunters had become the hunted, and they did not even know it. Captain Jake Martinez took a deep breath. Everything depended on the next few minutes. He opened a channel to all the civilian ships. This is Luna Station to all evacuation vessels, he said. The words sounded normal, but every volunteer knew what they really meant. Please confirm your final positions. One by one, the responses came back. Pete Collins from his mining ship. Amy Foster from her cargo hauler. Chris Baker from his transport. 1,000 voices saying they were ready to fight. The trap was set. The aliens were in position. It was time to show the galaxy that humanity would not go quietly into the dark. Admiral Zextar raised his hand on the bridge of his flagship. Around him, his officers waited for the final command. The human fleet was almost destroyed. Only 12 ships remained, burning and broken but still fighting. Activate planetary bombardment systems, Zextar ordered. Prepare to glass the surface of Earth. Massive weapon ports opened on the alien ships. Energy began building in the planet-killing cannons. In minutes, they would rain death on the blue world below, but at that exact moment, Captain Jake Martinez spoke into his radio from Luna Station. His voice was calm and clear. All evacuation vessels, he said. Execute Protocol Shepard. Those 3 words changed everything. Pete Collins heard the signal in his mining ship Rockhound. He was positioned directly behind the alien flagship. Less than 2 miles away, the massive alien vessel filled his entire view screen. For humanity, Pete whispered. He pressed the firing button. His modified drilling laser erupted with blinding light. The beam was so powerful it melted the laser housing as it fired. Pete's ship shook like it was coming apart. Sparks flew from every control panel. The laser beam struck the alien flagship's engine section. The ship's shields tried to absorb the energy, but they were calibrated for military weapons. This was different. This was a mining tool overcharged beyond all safety limits. The beam punched through the shields like they were made of paper. It carved a hole 30 feet wide through the alien ship's hull. Secondary explosions rippled along the flagship's spine as power conduits overloaded. Admiral Zexstar was thrown to the floor as his ship bucked and shuddered. Emergency alarms screamed across the bridge. Half the lights went out. What happened? He shouted. Report. Unknown energy discharge from our rear quarter, his tactical officer said. His voice was confused and frightened. Massive hull breach. In engine section 3, impossible, Zexstar snarled. There are no enemy ships behind us, only civilian evacuation craft. At that moment, Amy Foster's cargo hauler Big Haul opened fire. She had positioned herself next to a formation of alien cruisers. Her cargo launching system began firing container after container at incredible speed. Each container held nuclear-enhanced mining charges. They hit the alien ships like enormous bullets. The first container struck the cruiser Kethanoler amidships. The nuclear charge detonated on impact, sending a shockwave through the ship's hull. The alien shields flickered and failed. More containers smashed into the cruiser's hull. Metal plates buckled and tore. The ship began spinning out of control, atmosphere streaming from dozens of holes. Second cruiser targeted, Amy said to herself. She fired another volley of containers. This time she aimed for the ship's weapon ports. The explosions disabled half the cruiser's guns and left it drifting helplessly. The alien crews were in panic. Their sensors still showed the attacking ships as civilian non-threat. But civilian ships were not supposed to have weapons that could punch through military-grade armor. Chris Baker's transport-safe journey revealed its hidden weapons next. The rail guns emerged from concealed compartments along the ship's hull. They looked like nothing more than cargo handling equipment, but they were deadly. All passengers, brace for impact, Chris announced. He opened fire with all 6 rail guns. Simultaneously, thousands of titanium bolts accelerated to enormous speeds. They struck an alien destroyer like metal rain. The bolts were too small and fast for the ship's point defenses to stop. They punched through the hull in hundreds of places. The alien destroyer tried to turn its shields toward the attack. But the railgun bolts were coming from too many angles. The ship's hull looked like a sieve within seconds. Frank Miller, the old engineer, watched the damage reports with satisfaction. Direct hits across the target's entire profile, he called out. Their hull integrity is failing. All across the battle area, civilian ships revealed their true nature. A mining vessel fired modified plasma cutters that sliced through alien armor. A research ship launched probe rockets packed with explosives. A passenger liner used its docking arms to grab an alien fighter and crush it like an egg. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Their enemy was supposed to be primitive and predictable. Military ships with military weapons. Not this chaos of improvised weapons and impossible attacks. Admiral, we're under attack from multiple civilian vessels, the tactical officer reported. His voice was high with panic. Our sensors show no weapons on these ships, but they're somehow firing at us. Zexstar could not understand what was happening. His screen showed the same thing his officers were reporting. Civilian ships, cargo haulers, mining vessels, transports were attacking his fleet with weapons that should not exist. How are they hiding their weapons from our sensors? He demanded. We don't know, Admiral, the science officer replied. The energy signatures don't match any known military technology. They appeared to be using civilian equipment as weapons. A cargo hauler rammed into the side of an alien cruiser. The collision should have destroyed the smaller ship, but instead it triggered a massive explosion. The cargo hauler had packed its holds with mining explosives. The suicide attack left the cruiser broken in half. Zexstar watched in horror as his fleet began to fall apart. Ships that had conquered 17 worlds were being destroyed by garbage haulers and mining equipment. It was impossible. It was humiliating. All ships, target the civilian vessels, he ordered. Destroy anything that moves. But the civilian ships were not fighting like a military fleet. They had no formation, no coordination, no apparent strategy. They attacked from every direction at once. Some fled after firing their weapons. Others charged directly into the alien formation. A passenger transport detonated its fusion reactor next to an alien battlecruiser. The explosion was so bright it could be seen from Earth. When the light faded, both ships were gone. An ore freighter used its cargo magnets to tear weapons off an alien destroyer. The alien ship fired its remaining guns at point-blank range, but the freighter's hull was designed to withstand asteroid impacts. It absorbed the damage and kept fighting. Dr. Lisa Thompson monitored the battle from her bunker on the moon. Her calculations had been correct. The alien shields were designed to stop energy weapons and conventional explosives. They could not handle the kinetic impacts and unconventional attacks the humans were using. "Jake, it's working," she said into her radio. "Their shield generators are overloading. They can't adapt fast enough to our attack patterns." On Luna Station, Jake Martinez watched the impossible become reality. His screen showed alien ships burning, exploding, drifting helplessly. The mighty Kethver fleet was being torn apart by farmers and factory workers with modified mining equipment, but the cost was terrible. For every alien ship destroyed, 3 or 4 civilian vessels died. Pete Collins' mining ship had been vaporized by return fire seconds after his successful attack. Amy Foster's cargo hauler was spinning out of control, its hull cracked open like a broken egg. "Sir, we're receiving distress calls from dozens of civilian ships," Commander Sam Rodriguez reported. "Heavy casualties across all sectors." Jake felt each loss like a knife in his heart. But he could not stop now. Not when victory was so close. The alien flagship was trying to retreat. Admiral Zexstar's ship was badly damaged, but it was still the most powerful vessel in the fleet. If it escaped, it could return with reinforcements. A small research vessel called the Starseeker moved to intercept the flagship. The ship belonged to Dr. Rachel Stone, a scientist who studied asteroid composition. She had modified her rock sampling equipment into a weapon. "This is for all the people who died today," Rachel said. She fired her modified core sampler directly into the flagship's bridge. The sampler was designed to punch through solid rock and extract samples from the center. It punched through the flagship's armor just as easily. The bridge exploded in a shower of sparks and debris. Admiral Zexstar's last thought was that this was impossible. His advanced fleet, conqueror of worlds, had been defeated by primitives using farming tools as weapons. The battle was not over, but the outcome was no longer. In doubt, the alien fleet was broken, scattered, burning. Those ships that could still move were fleeing toward the edge of the solar system. Captain Jake Martinez opened a channel to all remaining ships, both military and civilian. "All vessels, this is Luna Station," he said. "Pursue and destroy any enemy ships attempting to escape. We cannot let them return home with knowledge of our capabilities." The hunt was on. What remained of the Kethver fleet ran for their lives, chased by an enemy they had completely underestimated. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity was far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The space around Earth was filled with burning wreckage. Pieces of alien ships drifted slowly among the stars. Some were as big as buildings. Others were just twisted metal and broken glass. The mighty Kethver fleet had been reduced to floating. Junk. Admiral Zexstar's flagship was still alive, but barely. The bridge was dark except for emergency lights. Half his crew was dead. The ship's engines were failing. Through the cracked view screen, he could see human ships chasing down the survivors of his fleet. "Status report," Zexstar said. His voice was weak. Blue blood dripped from a cut on his forehead. 47 ships destroyed, his tactical officer reported 89 ships heavily damaged. Only 31 vessels are still capable of faster-than-light travel. Zextar felt sick. He had brought 300 ships to conquer Earth. Now less than a tenth of his fleet could even escape the solar system. "How did this happen?" he whispered. "How did primitives defeat the Kethver Empire?" His science officer looked up from a damaged console. "Admiral, I've been analyzing their attack patterns. They didn't use military weapons at all. They used civilian equipment, mining tools, cargo systems, industrial machinery. Our sensors were programmed to ignore non-military technology." Zextar understood now. The humans had tricked them. They had hidden weapons that looked like tools. They had disguised warships as civilian vessels. They had used the Empire's own technological superiority against them. "Send a message to the homeworld," Zextar ordered. "Tell them what happened here. Warn them that these humans are not what they appear to be." A cargo ship appeared on the flagship screens. It was moving slowly toward them. Zextar recognized it as one of the human vessels that had attacked his fleet. He expected it to fire weapons and finish them off. Instead, the cargo ship opened a communication channel. "Alien vessel, this is Captain Tony Walsh of the freighter New Hope," came a human voice. "Your ship is badly damaged. Do you need medical assistance?" Zextar was confused. "You are offering to help us?" "We're offering to help wounded people," Tony replied. "That's what humans do." Zextar looked around his ruined bridge. Many of his crew were injured. Some were dying. The humans' offer was completely unexpected. "Why would you help your enemies?" Zextar asked. "Because the fighting is over," Tony sighed. "Your fleet is defeated. Now we take care of the wounded. That's the difference between us and you." On Luna Station, Captain Jake Martinez watched the last alien ships flee the solar system. The battle was won, but the cost had been terrible. Nearly 800 civilian vessels had been destroyed. Thousands of brave volunteers had died. Commander Sam Rodriguez brought him the final casualty reports. "We lost 743 civilian ships," Sam said quietly. "But they took down 269 alien vessels. The survivors are running away as fast as they can," Jake nodded. He felt proud and sad at the same time. Proud of what humanity had accomplished. Sad for all the people who would never. "Go home." Dr. Lisa Thompson emerged from her bunker. She looked exhausted but excited. Her arms were full of data tablets and analysis reports. "Jake, you need to see this," she said. "I've been studying the alien technology we captured. Their computers contain information about 17 other worlds they conquered. And they all fell the same way." "What do you mean?" Jake asked. "The aliens always use the same strategy," Lisa explained. "They would scan for military threats, destroy the organized resistance, then demand surrender. It worked on every world because every species fought the same way, military against military." "But we didn't fight that way," Sam said. "Exactly," Lisa replied. "We turned civilians into soldiers. We made weapons out of tools. We used their expectations against them. No one in the galaxy has ever done that before." Jake looked at the data about the other conquered worlds. 17 civilizations destroyed because they fought conventionally. Earth survived because humans refused to fight fair. 3 days later, Jake stood in the command center watching something amazing. Ships were arriving at Earth from all over the galaxy, but these were not invasion fleets. They were peaceful vessels carrying ambassadors and diplomats. "Sir, we're receiving communications from 47 different species," Sam reported. "They all want to talk to us." "What do they want?" Jake asked. "Trade agreements, mutual defense pacts, technology exchanges," Sam said. "Word has spread about what happened here. The entire galaxy knows that Earth defeated the Kethver Empire." A new voice came over the communications system. It was speaking perfect English, but the accent was strange. "Earth Command, this is Ambassador Velther of the Zentari Republic," the voice said. "We wish to formally thank you for your victory over the Kethver Empire. They have been a threat to peaceful species for 500 years. Jake activated the reply channel. "This is Captain Martinez of Earth Command. You're welcome to enter our solar system, Ambassador. Captain Martinez, the alien voice continued, my government would like to propose an alliance. We believe humanity would be a valuable addition to the Galactic Council. More voices joined the conversation. Representatives from dozens of worlds, all wanting to be friends with the species that had done the impossible. Dr. Lisa Thompson worked day and night studying the alien technologies that had been offered to humanity. Advanced medical equipment, faster-than-light communication systems, energy weapons, shield generators. The galaxy was sharing its secrets with Earth. This is incredible, she told Jake. They're giving us technology that would take us centuries to develop on our own. Why? Jake asked. What do they want in return? They want us to teach them, Lisa said. They want to learn how we think, how we fight, how we turn anything into a weapon. Every species in the galaxy fought wars the same way, until now. A month after the battle, Jake received a visitor. It was Admiral Zexstar. The alien commander had requested permission to return to Earth, not as an invader, but as a student. I need to understand, Zexstar said. They met in a conference room on Luna Station. The alien looked different now. Smaller somehow. Defeated. Understand what? Jake asked. How you did it, Zexstar replied. My empire conquered 17 worlds. We had the best technology, the strongest ships, the most advanced weapons. How did you defeat us with mining equipment and cargo containers? Jake thought for a moment. You made 2 mistakes, he said finally. What mistakes? First, you assumed that superior technology guarantees victory, Jake explained. You forgot that wars are won by people, not machines. Our people were willing to die for their world. Your people were just following orders, Zexstar nodded slowly. And the second mistake? You only saw what you expected to see, Jake said. Your sensors looked for military threats, so you missed the real danger. We turned our weakness into strength. We made you think we were helpless when we were actually setting a trap. Your species is very dangerous, Zexstar said. Only to our enemies, Jake replied. We offered medical aid to your wounded ships, remember? Humans can be merciful to those who deserve it. Zexstar was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. Again, the Empire is collapsing. Half our worlds have declared independence. The other half are demanding new leaders. What you did here has changed everything. Good, Jake said. Maybe now those 17 worlds can be free again. 6 months later, Jake stood on the observation deck of the new Earth Defense Station. Through the windows, he could see ships from dozens of worlds. Trade vessels, exploration ships, diplomatic transports. Earth had become a center of galactic civilization. A young officer named Kevin Miller approached him. Kevin was the son of Frank Miller, the old engineer who had died helping Chris Baker modify his transport ship. Sir, we just received word from the Vega sector, Kevin said. The local government there has asked for our help. Pirates have been attacking their shipping routes, Jake smiled. What kind of help do they want? They want us to teach them unconventional warfare tactics, Kevin replied. They want to learn how to turn civilian ships into weapons. Then we'll teach them, Jake said. That's what allies do. As Jake watched the ships moving through space, he thought about how much had changed. 6 months ago, humanity had been alone in the galaxy, facing extinction. Now they were teachers, showing other species how to fight for their freedom. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Advanced technology was not enough to guarantee victory. Sometimes the most dangerous enemies were the ones who refused to play by the rules. Sometimes the greatest strength came from the willingness to turn anything, even a mining ship or cargo hauler, into a weapon. Humanity had saved itself by refusing to fight fair. In doing so, they had given hope to every oppressed world in the galaxy. The age of easy conquest was over. The age of human ingenuity had begun.